Right now it is Friday, January 16th at 10:01. As y'all can see, the time just changed. I'm talking like I'm doing a YouTube video, but basically what I'm doing right now for 15 minutes a day, read this book, The Magic of Thinking Big by David J. Schwartz. 6 million copies sold, as y'all can see right there. I'm gonna do 15 minutes. I got my timer right here. Yeah, without further ado, we on chapter 1. So yeah, let's start the timer and let's go. So chapter 1, believe you can succeed and you will. Success means wonderful, positive things. Success means personal prosperity, a fine home, vacation, travel, new things, financial security, giving your children maximum advantages. Success means winning at Success means winning admiration. Success means winning admiration, leadership, being looked upon to by people in your business and social life. Success means freedom. Freedom from worries, fears, frustrations, and failure. Success means self-respect. Success means self-respect, continually finding more real happiness and satisfaction from life. Being able to do more than those things who depend on you. Success means winning. Success achievement is the goal of life. Every human being wants success. Everyone wants the best this life can deliver. Nobody enjoys crawling, living in mediocrity. No one likes feeling second class and forced to go that way. Some of the most practical success building wisdom is found in the biblical quotient stating that faith can move mountains. Really believe you can move a mountain, and you can. Not many people believe that they can move mountains. So as a result, not many people do. Facts. On some occasion, you've probably heard someone say something like, "It's nonsense to think you can move mountains. It's nonsense to think you can move a mountain. It's nonsense to think you can move a mountain, move away just by saying mountain move away." That was kind of weird. It's simply impossible. People who think this way have belief confused with wishful thinking. And true enough, you can't wish a mountain. You can't wish yourself into an You can't wish yourself into an executive suite, nor can you wish yourself into a 5-bedroom, 3-bath house or high income brackets. You can't wish yourself in the position of leadership. But you can move a mountain with belief. You can win success by believing you can succeed. There is nothing magical or mystical about the power of belief. Belief works this way. Belief, the I'm positive I can attitude generates the power, skill, and energy need to do. When you believe I can do it, the how to do it develops. Every day all over the nation, young people start in new jobs. Each of them wishes that someday he could enjoy the success that goes with reaching to the top. But the majority of young people simply don't have the belief that it takes to reach the top rungs. I wonder what that word means. I'll look it up later. And they don't reach the top. Believing it's impossible to climb, they do not discover the steps that led to great heights. Their behavior remains that of the average person. But a small number of these young people really believe they will succeed. They approach their work with the I'm going to the top attitude. And the substantial belief they reach to the top believing they will succeed and that is not impossible. These folks study and observe the behavior of senior executives. They learn how successful people approach problems and make decisions. They observe the attitudes of successful people. The how to do it always comes to the people who believes he can do it. A young woman I am acquainted with decides 2 years ago she was going to establish a sales agency to sell mobile homes. She was advised by many she couldn't do it and couldn't do it. She was advised by many she shouldn't and couldn't do it. She had less than $3,000 in savings and was advised that minimum capital investment required was many times that. Look how competitive it is, she was advised, and believe what practical experience have you had in selling mobile homes. Let her alone managing a business, her advisor asked. This young woman had belief in herself and her ability to succeed. She quickly admitted that she lacked capital, the business was competitive, and she lacked experience. But she said, all the evidence I can gather shows the mobile home industry is going to expand. On top of that, I've studied my competition. I know I can do a better job of merchandising trailers than anybody else in this town. I expect to make some mistakes, but I'm going to be on top in a hurry. And she was. She had little trouble getting capital. Her absolutely unquestioned belief that she could succeed with this business won her the confidence of 2 investors. And armed with complete belief, she did the impossible. She got a trailer manufacturer to advance her limited inventory with no money down. Later, she sold over $1 million worth of trailers. Next year, she says, I expect to gross over $2 million. Belief, strong belief, triggers the mind to figure ways, means, and how to. And believing you can succeed makes others place confidence in you. Most people do not put much in stock. Most people do not put much stock in belief, but some, the residents of Successville, USA, do. Just a few weeks ago, a friend who is an associate. Just a few weeks ago, a friend who is an official with the State Highway Department in Midwestern State related a mountain moving experience to me. Last month, my friend began, our department sent notices to a number of engineering companies that we were authorized to retain some firm to design 8 bridges as part of our highway building programs. The bridges were to be built at a cost of $5 million. The engineering firm selected would get a 4% commission on a $200,000 for its design work. $200,000 for its design work. I talked with 21 engineering firms about this. The 4 largest decided right away to submit proposals. The other 17 companies were small, having only 3 to 7 engineers each. The size of the project scared off 16 of these 17. They went over the project, shook their heads and said, in effect, it's too big for us. I thought we could have handled it, but it's no use even trying. But one of these small firms, a company with only 3 engineers, studied the plans and said, we can do it. We'll submit a proposal. They did, and they got the job. Those who believe they can move mountains do. Those who believe they can't, cannot. Belief triggers the power to do. Actually, in modern times, belief is much bigger than things moving mountains. The most essential element, in fact, the essential element in our space explorations, in our space's explorations today, is the belief that space can be mastered. Without firm, unwavering belief that the man can travel in space, our scientists will not have the courage, interest, or even the enthusiasm to proceed. That cancer can be cured with cures ultimately produce cures cancer. Currently, there is some talk of building a tunnel under the English Channel to connect England with the continent. Whether this channel is ever built depends on whether the people who are responsible will believe it can be built. Belief great results in the driving force, the power behind all books, plays, significant discovery, merchandising trailers than anybody else in this town. I expect to make some mistakes, but I'm going to be on top in a hurry. And she was. She had little trouble getting capital. Her absolutely unquestioned belief that she could succeed with this business won her the confidence of 2 investors. And armed with complete belief, she did the impossible. She got a trailer manufacturer to advance her limited inventory with no money down. Later, she showed over $1 million worth of trailers. Next year, she says, I expect to gross over $2 million. Belief, strong belief, triggers the mind to figure ways, means, and how to. And believing you can succeed makes others place confidence in you. Most people do not put much stock in belief, but some the residents of Successville, USA do. Just a few weeks ago, a friend who is an official with the State Highway Department in Midwestern State related a mountain-moving experience to me. Last month, my friend began, our department sent notices to a number of engineering companies that we were authorized to retain some firm to design 8 bridges as part of our highway building programs. The bridges were to be built at a cost of $5 million. The engineering firm selected would get a 4% commission on a $200,000 for its design work. $200,000 for its design work. I talked with 21 engineering firms about this. The 4 largest decided right away to submit proposals. The other 17 companies were small, having only 3 to 7 engineers each. The size of the project scared off 16 of these 17. They went over the project, shook their heads and said, in effect, it's too big for us. I thought we could have handled it, but it's no use even trying. But one of these small firms, a company with only 3 engineers, studied the plans and said, we can do it. We'll submit a proposal. They did, and they got the job. Those who believe they can move mountains do. Those who believe they cannot. Belief triggers the power to do. Actually, in modern times, belief is much bigger than things moving mountains. The most essential element, in fact, the essential element in our space explorations, in our space's explorations today, is the belief that space can be mastered. Without firm, unwavering belief that the man can travel in space, our scientists will not have the courage, interest, or even the enthusiasm to proceed. That cancer can be cured with ultimately produce cures cancer. Currently, there is some talk of building a tunnel under the English Channel to connect England with the continent. Whether this channel is ever built depends on whether the people who are responsible will believe will believe it can be built. Belief great results in the driving force, the power behind all books, plays, significant discoveries. Belief is success behind every successful business, church, and political organization. Belief in the success is the one basic, absolutely potential ingredient of successful people. Really believe you can succeed, and you will. Over the years, I've talked with many people who have failed in business ventures and in various careers. We have 4 minutes left, guys. Dang, I think we're doing good. I've had a lot of reasons and excuses for failure. Something especially significant unfolds as conversations with failures developed. In a casual sort of way of failure drops a remark. To tell the truth, I didn't think it would work, or I had my misgivings before I even started out, or actually, I wasn't too surprised that it even worked out. The okay, I'll give it a try, but I don't think it'll work out attitude precedes failures. Facts. I'm not gonna lie, it definitely does. Disbelief is a negative power. When the mind disbelieves or doubts, the mind attracts reasons to support the belief. Doubt belief, the subconscious will to fail, the not really wanting to succeed is responsible for most of these failures. Think doubt and fail. Think victory and succeed. A young fiction writer talked with me recently about her writing ambitions. The name of one of the top writers in the field came up. Oh, she said, Mr. X is a wonderful writer, but of course, I can't be nearly successful as he is. Her attitude disappointed me very much because I know the writer mentioned he is not super intelligent nor super perceptive, nor super anything except super confident. He believes he is amongst the best, and so he acts and performs the best. It is very well respected by the leader. Learn from him, observe him, study him, but don't worship him. Believe you can surpass, believe you can go beyond. Those who harbor the second best attitude are invariably Those who harbor the second best attitude are invariably second best doers. Look at it this way. Belief is the thermostat that regulates what we accomplish in life. Study the fellow who is shuffling down in the mediocrity. He believes he is worth little, so he receives little. He believes he can't do big things. He believes he can't do big things, and he doesn't. He believes he is super unimportant, so everything he does has an unimportant mark. As time goes by, lack of belief in himself shows through in ways the fellow talks, walks, and acts. Unless he readjusts his thermostat forward, he shrinks, grows smaller and smaller. In his own estimation. And others see in us what we see in ourselves. We grow smaller in the estimation of the people around him. Now look across the way at the person who is advancing forward. He believes he is worth much, and he receives much. He believes he can handle big, difficult assignments, and he does. Everything he does, the way he handles himself with people, his character, his thoughts, his viewpoints, all say he is professional. Here is a professional. He is an important person. A person is a product of their own thoughts. Believe big, adjust your thermostat forward, launch your success offensive with honest, sincere belief that you can succeed. Believe big and grow big. Ain't gonna lie, I like this book. It's been some real facts for sure. Several years ago, after Addressing a group of businessmen in Detroit, I talked with one of the gentlemen who approached me, introduced himself, and said, "I really enjoyed your talk. Can you spare a few minutes? I like I like very much to discuss a personal experience with you." In a few minutes, we were comfortably seated in a coffee shop, waited for some refreshments. "I have a personal experience," he began, that ties in perf- that ties in per- that ties in perfectly with what you said this evening about making your mind work for you instead of letting it work against you. I've never explained to anyone how I lifted myself out the world of mediocrity, but I like to tell you about it. And I'd like to hear," I said. "Well, just 5 years ago, I was plodding along, just another guy working in tool and die trade. I made a decent living by average standards, but it was far from ideal. Our home was much too small, and there was no money for those things we wanted. My wife, bless her, didn't complain much, but it was written all over her face. She was more resigned to her fate than she was happy. Inside, I grew more dissatisfied. When I let myself see how I was failing my good wife and 2 children, I really hurt inside. But today, things are really different," my friend continued. "Today, we have a beautiful new home on a 2 acre lot and a 2 round cabin a couple 100 miles north of here. There is no more worry about whether we can send our kids to a good college. My wife no longer has to no longer has to feel guilty every time she spends money for new clothes. My wife no longer has to feel guilty every time she spends money for new clothes. Next summer, the whole family is flying to Europe to spend a month's holiday. We're really living." "How did this all happen?" I asked. "It all happened," he continued. When to use the phrase you use tonight, I harnessed the power of belief. 5 years ago, I learned about a job with the tool and die company in Detroit. We were living in Cleveland at the time, so I decided to look into it, hoping I could make a little bit more money. I got here early on Sunday evening, but the interview was not until Monday. After dinner, I sat down in my hotel room for some reason, and I got really disgusted with myself. Why, I asked myself. Am I just a middle class failure? Failure? Why am I really trying to get that job that represents a small step forward? I really I really don't know to this day what promoted me to do that. But I took a sheet of hotel stationery and wrote down the names of 5 people I've known well over the years who had far surpassed me in every power and job responsibly. 2 were former neighbors who had moved away to find subdivisions. Moved away to find subdivisions. Two other fellows I had worked for, and the third was a brother-in-law. Next, again, I didn't know what made me do this. I asked myself, what do my 5 friends that I don't have besides better what do my 5 friends have that I don't have besides better jobs? I compare myself with them on intelligence, but I honestly couldn't see that they excelled in the brains they excelled in the brains department. Nor could I truthfully say they had me beat on education. Intelligence no, I'm tripping. Beat on education, integrity, or personal habits. Finally, I go down to another success quality. One here is a lot. Initiative. Ooh, I love it. Hey, my pops. He taught us about initiative. Here, I hated to admit that, but I had to. On this point, my record showed I was far below that on my success friends. I was far below that of my successful friends. It was now about 3 a.m., but my mind was astonishingly. Wow. My mind was astonishingly clear. I was saying my weak point for the first time. I discovered that I had held back. I had always carried a little stick. I dug into myself deeper and deeper and found the reason I lacked initiative was because I didn't believe inside I was worth very much. I sat there with the rest of my life reviewing how lack of faith in myself had dominated me ever since I could remember. How I could remember how I used my mind to work against myself. I found I had been preaching to myself why I couldn't get ahead instead of why I could. I had been selling myself short. I found this state of self-deprivation showed through in everything I did. Then it dawned on me that no one else was going to believe in me until I believed in myself. Facts. Right then I decided, I'm through feeling second class. I'm here on in. I'm not going to sell myself short. Next morning, I still had the confidence. During the job interview, I gave my newfound confidence in the first test. Before coming in the interview, I had hoped I would have the courage to ask for $750 or maybe even $1,000 more than my present job was paying. But now, after I was a valuable man, I upped it to $3,000. Shit, know that? And I got it. Facts. I got it. That's a blessing. And I showed myself because after one long night of self-analysis, I found things in myself that made me a lot more sellable. Within 2 years, I took the job I established a reputation as a fellow who get the business. Fellow who can get the business. Then we went into recession. This made me still more valuable because I was one of the best business getters in the industry. The company was recognized and I was even given a substantial amount of stock plus a little bit more pay. That's what's up. Believe in yourself and good things do start happening. Facts. Okay, y'all, that's literally, we on page 18. I'm gonna go ahead and stop it right there. Y'all be smooth, boy.